Hello, Internet world. Welcome to Two and a Half Brains. This is our weekly discussion about the Amazing Race, talking about the latest episode 4 of season 31. We're dive into it here, talk about what went right, what went wrong for the teams, the team who got knocked out, what happened, and break it all down here. As always, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. We have our Survivor finale coverage. We're going to have a live reaction immediately following the finale. So don't miss that. You'll definitely want to be all about that. Check that out and see what you think, what you like, and what we think about the show immediately following. Also, we'll have our season recap on week following that as well. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss anything. You get all our updates all week, all season, even the postseason and the preview for the next season as well. So definitely don't miss anything. Definitely subscribe so you can get all that. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pavement Productions. Email the show, pavementproductions@gmail.com. You can tweet me directly at YoGrabAGabba and get all the updates right there as well. So don't miss anything. Definitely check back and all the content we're putting out here. Definitely be a part of it. Share it. Tell your friends and definitely check back every week. So with the Survivor show, we have usually the same guests every week, same host, co-host. The Amazing Race, just because it's on immediately after Survivor, we do Survivor right away, and then we kind of do the Amazing Race a day or two after. So scheduling is kind of up in the air sometimes. So it's really, I really, have the same people I try to get every week, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. So I'm always grateful when somebody's able to come on and it's not just me talking. Somebody's able to come on the show and give me a brain boost, I guess you can say. So this week, Miss Bebop cannot join us based on schedule, but Jessica was able to move on her schedule, so she can be here with us, and I'm very appreciative. So let's go ahead and bring in my co-host for this week on the show, Ms. Jessica Tarasi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
You are always wonderful. I'm great, thank you. So let's talk about the latest episode here. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Good.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of start off here with your initial thoughts. We kind of talked last time on the show about your overall take on the Amazing Race and your your history of the show. But tell us briefly, if anybody's new, what do you tell about your history of the show, your experience of the show.
I mean, I haven't watched it that long. Last season was the first one I watched fully. Besides that, it was, what do we call, fair weather fan or
Casual
fan. Yeah, I didn't watch it that often, but yeah, starting to get into it now. Watch it every week.
For sure. And last season was a good season to start with because it had the highest ratings of the series had in a while. So it was really good. But this this season you're kind of here. You've been watching with me every week and giving us your take when you can. So, what were your overall thoughts on the episode?
I liked the episode. I liked the games, the detour, the roadblocks, all that stuff. Wasn't really surprised by the outcome of it. Was kind of waiting for that to happen, I guess.
For sure.
It was a good episode. A lot of teams shined that weren't unexpected to shine.
For sure. That's kind of same take too. It's kind of been there's a couple. Let's say the last week, there's some teams who are really strong, some teams who are really not. It'll be interesting to see if some of the teams who are really strong can stay there, and if other teams who aren't as strong can join the really strong teams.
Right.
But let's go ahead and talk about the roadblock. Kind of give it the overall format of this episode, this show. We talk about the roadblock, the detour, why the losing team lost, and at the end we give a power ranking of everybody left in the game, all the teams left. It's not necessarily based on the 1 week in general. It's kind of the more data we have, right, the more weeks that have gone by, the more maybe an accurate, I guess you could say, or if one team is consistently in first place and then they're in last place or second last, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to finish anywhere else. It just kind of depends on our take on the team. If they are making mistakes, making good decisions, if they're fighting, if they're working together. Some teams fight all the time but still are effective. Right. Some teams never fight and are just bad at challenges. Right, or they have very bad luck, or they make bad decisions.
Right.
So all those things we factored into it, and we do when we do power rankings. But let's go ahead here and talk about the roadblock this week. What was your thought of the roadblock?
I mean, it definitely took someone that knows how to ride a motorbike to actually be able to do the roadblock. It'd be difficult. You have to learn it quick and you have to be able to stay in the lines and not put your feet down. That's the hardest part, balance. You have to be able to balance. Just because you can ride a bike doesn't mean you can ride this, heavy motorbike.
Yeah.
Or a course like that. So, I thought it was cool.
It was cool. It's one of those things where this is another one of those episodes where, one of those challenges where there's a learning curve to it. The quicker you get it, the better off you're going to be. It's like most things where you don't necessarily do it in your everyday life, but it's not a thing where you need to set a certain skill set. It's
just need to be able to learn it.
Learn and pick it up quickly, yeah. And a lot of it is trial and error too. You're like, well, if I go fast, I'll probably go off the track. If I go too slow, I'll probably tip over, or put my feet down, because I'll be losing balance.
I mean, this was a physical detour, unlike the other ones, which have been like learning and stuff. Also, it's not necessarily learning, but it's physical and learning at the same time.
Yeah, it's almost like muscle training a little bit.
Yeah,
I would say, because it's like you didn't really have to know how to do anything. You just kind of had to, pick it up. But it's a lot of teams were struggling because they're going either too fast or too slow, and you had to kind of find that happy medium that you could control it, going fast enough to control it, but also not going so fast that you're out of control, but too so slow that you're tipping over and losing balance and momentum and things like that. So some teams did really well. Some teams did it in 1 or 2 shots. Some teams did it in 10 shots. And that was kind of the big struggle for the teams who finished at the back of the pack, was kind of getting out, and struggling on that task. It was interesting though too, because Team Fun left first place, and that's one thing that I was looking at too. So when there's when everybody catches up to each other like they did this week, right? They all caught up. They all got to the Ice Palace, whatever it was, at the same time. They all got to enter around the same time.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see who, it's if a team has a big lead, and they can hold that lead the whole time, because nobody's catching up to them. They're all on different flights, whatever.
They couldn't catch up. Well, they could all catch up because this one the store opened at 6:30.
Right.
They had time to catch up.
Exactly. So basically, start at the same spot. But if the like isn't like that, and they're just they have a lead for 2-3 weeks because of a lead they built, and then they just are able to hang on to it. That's one thing. But if everybody's equal and the same team always float to the top, with the other one sink to the bottom, you can kind of tell who's doing what.
Right. That's probably the point of it, though. Allowing everybody to catch up and see how well they're actually doing, instead of having the lead and just keeping the lead.
Right. Absolutely, and that's very true. So, and the teams who. A couple teams had bad luck with taxis, or couldn't buy a taxi, couldn't get on the road.
Yeah, I mean that's just bad luck.
Bad luck.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, and some strategy to it, but for the most part, it is mostly luck.
Oh yeah.
But then from there, it's all right. Now you've had this luck. What are you gonna do with it? And the task of the roadblock was kind of set some teams apart from others. I mean, the teams who fell behind in that one were for the most part behind the rest of the way.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right.
What was next? The detour decision.
Yes.
What were the 2 options?
2 options. One was to build what they call it, like the water spigot. Like they had to basically build the water machine to pour in a bucket, or they had to use the basket and paddle down the river and get a basket of fish to hand into the fishmonger.
Yeah, and there was distractor. There was
distractions. Yeah, for the basket rowing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So as we always talk about, there's 2 tasks, and one is usually like a some sort of physically demanding or some sort of strenuous task, where one is like a skill set, or I always say there's athletic ones and there's art ones.
Yeah, basically.
It's like you learn a language, you sing a song, you paint a picture, or you carry something, throw something. Or or whatever,
Right.
And it's usually, rule of thumb, the physically demanding one is usually the ones that get done faster, because it's just point A to point B. It's not,
Right.
it's not you have to do something
straightforward. This is what you have to do. Get it done, and you're good.
right. Whereas there's a lot of times where you have to find a needle in a haystack. You're better off just pushing the whole haystack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of it's usually the way it works out. And I think in this case it was.
Yeah, the basket challenge was so much. It was a better choice than the other one for sure, because I mean, what was it? Alyssa
and Rachel.
Rachel struggled so much with just trying to put that thing together because they just weren't comparing the other one, showing that they had to have the buckets at an angle to scoop up the water and dump it into the other, bucket.
Right.
But the basket one was a much easier choice.
And
straightforward choice.
Right. I mean, it was physically demanding to lift the boat over the bridge,
right. But just about anybody can do it, and they actually did better than I thought they would because most people can't row a canoe. So seeing that everybody did well in the basket was impressive.
For sure. And it's one of those things where we talk about the teams what their skill sets are, and if you have that skill set where you're able to, Leo and Jamal had that eye for detail. That's why they're good at the race.
They do, yeah.
They don't run down the road, miss a clue box in a crowded road. They had the eye for detail, and they're really good at that role. Whereas Rachel and Alyssa, they do not. Rachel gets flustered very easily, and just and that's a big problem for them. So, sure, they probably could have done either, and done them fine. And they wanted to switch, but got to the point where I think they needed to just finish what they were doing, and I think they made the right decision not to switch.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think they was right decision not to switch, and they should have switched?
At the point that they were at, it was better to not switch. All they had to do was fix a couple things and just keep pouring the waters slowly but carefully and fastly as they could, basically all at the same time.
Right. For me too, one thing I always think about is I don't want to get tied up on a challenge where I'm like, what one detail am I missing? Mm-hmm. That's why I wouldn't want to do it. I'd rather do the one where it's just like go here to there. Right. Whereas instead of create this thing and make sure it's perfectly lined up the way it's supposed to be, I would be like, what the heck am I doing wrong? I would just probably break the thing and move on.
I mean, it kind of depends though on what challenge it is because. It wasn't on last week, but the whole prawns versus doing the dance. Prawns is riskier. You couldn't, it's not a guarantee you're going to catch them all that fast. Right. So that was kind of difficult. But I know what you mean. The strenuous ones are usually better, but you kind of have to take the risk of what one's going to be easier versus the other.
What would you have taken last week?
Probably the dance.
Really?
Yeah, because the fishing, like I said, you don't know. Going into it, you had no idea what the fishing was going to be like. It was going to be hard. Fish are fickle. They run away. Sure. I know. I've lost enough fishing, so I wouldn't go for that. Yeah.
It's tough because it's there's always the choices, right? And so much about the Amazing Race, the game part of it is the choices. Yeah. The choices you make, right? I mean, like Brett and Chris talk about that.
Yeah, you're in control of your own game, so you pick what you want to do. For
sure.
Those, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, create your own ending type of thing. The way I see it, though, for there's different. With the one today, it was do the straightforward, more physically demanding, more
it was quite simple too.
It was simple. It was straightforward. Yeah. Whereas the other one was a little bit more complex, but it was also, if you got it quickly, you could finish quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas the one with the prawns last week and dancing, if you're not getting the dance, if you're not physically able to do the dance, if you can't move your body in that way,
right.
you could do it a million times, you'll never get it.
I know. Yeah,
whereas
animals struggled so much.
For sure.
It was crazy.
And Brett and Chris did it once, and they said, "Forget this, we're not gonna get it."
Yeah, they shouldn't have picked it in the first place, though.
Correct. But then you fish, it's like you have to wait, and be patient. Mm-hmm. You'll probably eventually catch it, but how long can you wait? So that was the thing. That was the choice last week, and this week is a little bit different type of choice, but still the same idea. Where if you can focus on what you're doing and fix set this device up so it works, awesome. Mm-hmm. If you can't, you should drive yourself nuts looking at it. Where you could be doing something, making progress,
and just getting there and getting back. Yeah.
Exactly. So I would have probably done the rowing one. I've I like rowing. I like being on boats and. And that kind of thing. So I would,
easier.
Yeah, I think that would be definitely tasking I would prefer. But I can see both sides of it. But I don't have the eye for detail like that for the other one. But that's just my opinion. So let's shift gears here now. And what's the next one? Next section.
Why Corinne and Eliza lost?
Yeah, why did Corinne and Eliza lose? So this is gonna be your favorite section, I'm sure. But let's talk about why Corinne and Eliza lost. I have my thoughts. What do you think? Why did they fall short this weekend? Why were they eliminated? Because granted, week 1 they were kind of near the bottom, and then they were kind of near the middle, and then kind of near the top. They were 4th, 5th, and then they end up falling all the way back down losing. What happened?
I mean, part of it, I guess, was out of their control with the taxi, but I mean, Team Fun went and had somebody call a taxi, so I mean, that is also in your control, I guess. The bike, though, is what really messed them up. It was Eliza. Couldn't figure it out. She was afraid of it. I mean, you can't say anything if she's afraid of it, I guess. I think Corin probably should have done it instead, but I'm sure both of them were nervous to do it anyways.
Yeah.
And I mean, the rowing. Oh, the basket. They were standing. That was funny. I got a good laugh out of that.
And they flipped it over and capsized
it. Fell in the water. Yeah, I died. I'm sorry. I just thought how funny it was because they fell for Afghanos last week lying about they're in the wrong spot, and then they're like, oh, they're showing us how to do it. No, they're not. They're going to push your ass over. That's what they're there for.
Right.
So, that was funny.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here. I mean, first of all, they're not physical specimens by any means. They're not out of shape. They're not, whatever.
They're not athletes.
They're definitely not. I mean, they're 41 and 39, so not young either.
Not old either, but yes, I know what you mean.
But right,
they're not young spring chicks.
Right, and they're not in amazing physical shape. They're not out of shape, but they're not in tip top shape.
I mean, they're skinny, but they're not athletic. That's the difference.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're not, and they have certain skill sets that they're good at. There's certain things that they can definitely do, but I think. Go ahead.
I would say they really struggle with the language, though, the language barrier with people, and got frustrated easily. And it's like you're frustrated, but they don't understand you either. So you kind of have to keep yourself calm and be nice, because if you're being nasty to people in another country, they don't like Americans mostly. So
right.
I would probably just watch it and just be nice and do the best that you can to talk to these people. But that was a huge thing for them. I noticed probably every week that they kind of struggled with that.
So we talked about it during the episode. Why is Team Fun doing this well? Why is Tyler and Corey can be annoying,
right?
But why are they doing well on the race?
They just don't care. They're just having fun and just playing the game.
Right.
And I mean, especially at the end, how they lost and how upset they got. And I'm not talking to anybody on the show. I will never talk to them. Come on. You guys are in your 40s. You're adults.
Right.
You were in control of your own game. You could have won this, but you didn't because you fell short on some things. Right. Sorry.
And I do like Corinne and Eliza. I liked them on their season of Survivor. I liked them both. And when they played, I thought they were great characters. They were all at the show. They were very entertaining. Not a great showing. Not a great showing for Survivor to this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, the 4 legs, 3 people were at Survivor who were last.
Yeah.
Not good. And for me, here's the sum of in my opinion why Corinne and Eliza lost. Mm-hmm. They were way too emotional.
Yeah.
1, 2, they instead of having fun, they were way too serious.
Made it in your face about everything.
Well, yes, but even more so than that. Even I think it was just they let it get to them. They let other teams get to them. They let things bother them. It's like they took it on, and like now you're gonna miss little details. Now you're not gonna be able to focus. Now you're gonna, that bike thing. Eliza was getting upset because she couldn't get it, but you gotta realize, look, it's a learning curve, and the more upset you get, the longer the curve is gonna be.
And you're not gonna pay attention. She was more concentrated on everybody else getting through, instead of saying, okay, what am I doing wrong that I'm not getting through this quicker?
Details.
Learn. You just pay attention to you. Worry about yourself.
And the shows need people like that. The shows need, even those cannon fodders, right? And like I said, on Survivor, if Eliza and Corinne played 100 times, they probably wouldn't win because they're just that kind of personality, kind of abrasive, whatever.
Right.
You need that kind of thing on the show for entertainment value, but it's not necessarily great gameplay.
Right.
I said, I wrote a blog years ago about the top 10 greatest Survivor female players of all time. Mm-hmm. And I said if it was entertainment value, Corinne would be number 1. But as far as actual gameplay, she's not anywhere near the top 10. And I think same thing with the Amazing Race in this case.
Yeah.
I think they were emotional. They got flustered, and instead of just focusing on what they're doing, they try to worry about what everyone else is doing instead of worry about their own thing.
Okay.
And lastly, again, I love them, but the positivity would have gone a long way.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I really didn't like them. They're very negative, very snarky about other people, and worry about yourself. You might have done better if you just worried about what you guys were doing and just stuck to what you were doing. Because if you're sitting there like, oh, they're beating us, what are we gonna do? Just keep playing.
Right. And I don't like them, and they're doing this and this and that. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You can't worry about where you are
Right. No, you don't have to like them. You don't have to like anybody. Just play the game.
Right. And like I said, I mean, you doesn't matter if you feel you're first or if you feel you're last. We're on the same leg.
Right.
And you'll do better. I think putting that enough positive out in the environment, better things will happen. And
Yes.
I think it's just a matter of if they would have just focused on them and not worried about everybody else, not got emotional, not let things get out of hand. I think things got unraveled for them because they were too focused on everything else as opposed to what they needed to do to complete the tasks.
Right.
And that, in my opinion, is why Corinne and Eliza lost.
I agree.
Perfect. Let's move on to the power rankings here. Of the 8 teams remaining, we'll kind of break them down and talk a little briefly about them, and we'll see. Again, this is an overall the whole season so far. Who's where? Again, we have our winner picks, win, things like that. This is not really that, but it's kind of like, hey, so far here's who's doing what, and here's how we feel, and of course we'll back it up with our opinion too. So, who is team number 8 right now?
Brittany and Janelle.
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your brother.
Yeah, they are. If you guys remember season 29, they're, in my opinion, their team Lolo. And I liked the Lolo. They were fine. The Lolos were fine. They were second or third every week. Sometimes they're a little bit lower than that, but they were always right in there. And they went to the finals. Went to the last leg of the race, and I still couldn't tell you anything about them. She liked to paint, and they both thought that each other were attractive.
That's weird to say to each other.
It was weird, and they did, but they had they were fine. They weren't. I didn't dislike them by any means, but I didn't know much about them. And I feel like the same with Brittany and Janelle.
Still don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I mean, right. So with Brittany and Janelle, I feel the same way. Like they're kind of like they're there. They're not really. I wouldn't say they're probably gonna win. I wouldn't say they may not even go out next, but
they're not.
Right, but if you say take this play this season 10 times, how many times are they gonna win? How many times are they gonna go out early? How many times are they gonna go middle of the pack? I'd say if you did 10 times, they'd probably go out in the first 5 spots 7 of the 10 times.
Yeah.
They would get close to the end 2 times, and and whatever be middle of the pack once. I don't see them being a long term threat. I just don't think they have enough there. They're not getting the edit to do that either. Not to go into this forever edit talk, but I just don't think they're going to be around long term for that.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think?
I agree. They really don't. I don't know. I guess they don't work well together. You don't see them that much. They don't fight that often, but you just don't see them on the show. So you're not doing that great.
And again, they're still there, whatever. But they just don't bring anything to the table.
Mm-hmm.
They just seem kind of bland.
Yeah.
Who's number 7?
Rachel and Alyssa. Who?
Oh, we know who they are. One thing I'll say, I agree with Corinne and Eliza, but I don't want to see them ever again. I've seen them too many times.
For other reasons.
Oh, right. I mean, how many freaking shows is Rachel going to be on? I complain about it a lot, but stay the hell away from my Survivor, okay? Then please, just do it.
God. She's going to be on there next. You just wait.
She'll be the first out. She'll be bitching too.
She'll still be on it.
It's fine.
It's supposed to be fun.
Survivor's supposed to be fun and good. I feel like they're moments away from a complete and total catastrophe.
For her screaming and crying and saying it's supposed to be fun and good?
I just feel like they're gonna. I mean, say what you want about Brendan, he's an idiot, and Rachel, but Brenchel worked.
Yeah.
They're functional. I think Alyssa's too much of a scatterbrain, and I think she's no way is she gonna be able to keep Rachel from flying off the deep end. Functional.
I thought you said functionable.
Functional.
Okay. Got
I think Rachel's gonna fly off the deep end, and I don't think Alyssa's gonna be able to pull her back.
Probably not.
I think they're a matter of time before they just completely
Bomb explodes.
right. The wheels fall off, and they're at the challenge at the detour 7 hours after everyone else are tracked in. So let's go rescue them.
Yeah.
I see that happening in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, Rachel's never been eliminated from the Amazing Race. She's finished both times. She's gotten to the end and lost both times. She's never been eliminated.
We'll see about this time.
I think their third time's a charm for it is not to win though. Third time's a charm for it to be eliminated.
Right.
And I see it happening next couple weeks. I just don't. They're
Not very strong.
They're
definitely going to be going out
they're
soon.
they're both too out there. Brendan was way more low key, and I think he kind of reined her in. I think Alyssa's too far. I think they're way too similar, and that's a big problem.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, anything else? Any other thoughts on that team?
No.
Russell, Rolissa,
Alright, moving on. Chris and Brett.
So
Winner picks.
yes, and they were ninth in the power ranking. They finished last. They did the roadblock, and they finished fourth this week, right? Third or fourth?
Fifth? Was it fourth? Maybe it was fourth.
I don't think it was fourth, but
I think it was fourth.
either way, they hit a speed bump.
Much better.
And they did a way better job. I mean, the biggest difference for them this week. Again, do I see them winning right now? They were my winner pick going into, but I really didn't know what to think. I don't see them winning. I don't. But they did much better this week. The biggest difference I see between this week and last week, they made smarter decisions.
Yeah, but and there was stuff that was much more up their alley, like the bike. Much more up their alley. Of course, they're going to be able to do that. And like the rowing, which while hilarious, seeing them two in a basket. I mean, it's
Adorable.
rowing down.
Adorbs.
It was adorbs. They were cuddling and holding the fish.
Well,
You know
what Brett calls Chris, right?
No.
Miss Hammonds.
Mr. Hammonds.
Miss
Oh,
Hammonds.
Miss Hammonds.
Yes,
Oh.
it's adorbs.
Big strong man with the strong arms rowing him down the stream.
Yeah, he remember he said
Yeah.
Florence. I know Florence or whatever. Rome would be like, or what was it? Italy, whatever. Florence, Italy.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know this is what Florence would be like. It was great, adorable. I think that was funny. Was obviously their interaction and everything like that, and how they, do things. But Chris is an outdoorsy guy. Dirt bikes are his thing.
Right.
He did that easily. It was a little different, but he still
but it's similar enough to learn.
right 3 or 4 times to do it. So it's getting used to it a little bit. And he's good.
Yeah, and it's just a tight track. You got to get used to staying in the lines of a tight track.
Right. And then the thing that my highlight of the episode was when that dude was waving the thing in their face on the thing, and Chris just like
Splashing him.
pushes him with like one hand on the oar, and the guy goes flying.
Nope, not gonna deal with you right now.
It was just like he sneezed on the guy, and the guy flew 10 feet. It was
like he almost knocked the guy over too.
right. The guy's boat almost capsized because Chris pushed him with an oar.
Just like
Like,
okay, I'm done.
that was like, dude. I don't say Chris is a freaking tank. He is a monster. He is a freaking boomer Sooner, man. Oh my goodness, he played for the Sooners, won a national title. But dude, he's he's a tank. And that was the best moment of the episode for me. But these guys, if they can do again, stick to the physical challenges, stick to things that they, are closest to their skill sets, if not directly aligned with their skill sets.
Right.
If they can focus on those things and make the decisions based on that, I think they'll be around for a while. But I don't see them winning. But I think they'll at least be around for a while. So and I hope so because they're entertaining for sure. And we need only one Survivor team left now, so come on, guys, bring it home for us. What's next?
Tyler and Corey.
So again, the final 5 is probably gonna be the final 5, and the top 5 is probably gonna be the top 5 all season until one of them gets knocked out on a fluke situation or something.
Right.
I could see this 5 being the final 5. I could see one being somebody get knocked out. Tyler and Corey for me. it's weird. For me, they are maybe the most complete team. But
I'm surprised you say that.
yeah, but they have things where like when they're having fun, they're great. When they're
Yeah.
not having fun, they're abysmal.
Right.
They are right. I
Yeah.
mean, like look at. I mean, this week they were kind of getting frustrated, and Corey wasn't, and Tyler wasn't doing his dorky laugh like he always does. You know,
Well, I mean, the struggle was basically with them just getting a taxi and getting super frustrated. Like, I wish we were over there looking.
right?
I wish we
Yeah,
were there.
right.
That was the only part where they got frustrated. But as soon as they got back on track, they did fine.
And it's it. I mean, they can do the artsy stuff. They can do the singing, the dancing. They are.
But they can also kind of do the physical stuff.
They
though.
did. They did today, and
Yeah.
they did well. So,
Yeah.
their first season they should have won. And so they, they lost a team that broke up during the race. So it was just a freaky situation. But they're not favorites. They annoy me, but at the same time they have the skills to win this race.
Yeah.
If they can just not be so giggly, because again there's like I said, it's good that they're having fun, and when they are having fun they're at the best. But sometimes they take it too far, and then they're at the opposite end of the spectrum where they're just like laughing and not actually doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So if they can kind of just focus on what they're doing and not stress about it, not take it too seriously, and not overthink it, but just have fun, be themselves, and focus on what they're doing, keep on task, I think they have as good a chance to win as anybody.
Yeah.
They haven't had any major top finishes. They haven't been too far near the back either. They've been pretty right in the middle. But I think for this team, that's all you really want, because I think they have enough where they can really turn it on, flip a switch, and go crush it. I think they can do that. But right now they're still staying near the middle of the pack, so that's why I have them at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think you got it.
Who's number 4?
Team fun.
All right, so Team Fun, they won the last leg.
They did.
This leg they finished a little bit lower,
Yes.
higher, what do you want to say? And they were a little higher on power ranking, I believe, last week too. But why do you think Team Fun? What we just talked about them putting it at 4. Why have they been 4?
I mean, they're not finishing first often. They've been all over the place, but they work so well together. They can get through pretty much any task that they have. The only reason, the one they had, the detour, or what, I forget what they call it, when they are assigned another task, they have to do both roadblocks.
Oh yeah, the U-turn.
The U-turn,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, when they were assigned the U-turn, obviously that kind of, it didn't help, but they still got through everything faster than some of the other teams.
Sure.
I mean, they work well together. They're good with the languages. Last week I loved the karaoke. He did great.
Yeah.
And I just think they're a complete team.
I do too.
I don't think they ever take anything too seriously that they can't get through it.
Correct. I agree. I think they are a good team as well. There's certain things that I wonder about. Like I said, I mean, they lost last time because of overexertion and things like that.
Yeah.
And those kind of things. And some tasks are just, but they're again like they had a challenge last season where they were like climbing a mountain, and Becca's
Mountain climber.
she teaches like mountain climbing.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Right.
So and again, they're young, they're in good shape. One thing about them too is, again, they don't take it too seriously, and in now almost a season and a half of Amazing Race, they didn't make it all the way in last season, but they got pretty far. I don't think I've seen them fight once.
No.
I don't remember.
I really barely saw them get frustrated all this season.
Right.
Like, very little, if anything.
They have a lot of fun with it, and that's their biggest strength. There's certain tasks that they're not good at and they might struggle with, but they, unlike Tyler and Corey, they're just energetic and focused on what they're doing, and they have fun with it.
Right.
And they don't sweat the results.
No.
Whereas Tyler and Corey they're just kind of goofballs.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys are fun and they're focused, and they may not be as good at some of the tasks, some of the teams, but they're always having fun. They're always enjoying themselves.
Do it with intensity.
Exactly. Any other thoughts?
No, I mean they were the only ones that kind of took the initiative to go approach someone to call a taxi
Yeah,
when none were coming. So I mean that definitely helped them.
for sure.
That was good. They took the initiative to do that.
And there's, yes, they said at the beginning of the season who has the advantage: the Survivors, the Big Brothers, the Amazing Racers. All but one team at the beginning said the Amazing Racers, and you can definitely see the experience. I mean, all these teams, I wouldn't have necessarily, if I'm brand new to the Amazing Race, I wouldn't necessarily thought to call taxi. I would have done what everybody else is doing. I wouldn't have had that forethought, but they've played it before. They're like, hey, this is something we can do.
Mm-hmm.
For the winner of their season. The winner of their season, they were the worst team. I hated them so much. The team that won that season, but they both were big fans of the show, and they knew like, hey, if we do this, it's gonna give us a little bit of an advantage. And the last two, 3 legs, they took every advantage they could,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they won because they knew, they knew the show well enough, and that's kind of I think where if you're an Amazing Racer, you've played it before, you kind of have that a little bit of a leg up. Who's number 3 on our hard ranking here?
Animals.
The Afghanimals, yeah. And I'm so tough. I'm so tough. I don't really know where to put them.
I mean, they definitely have fallen from the lead of the pack to be number 1, but they still do well. They're kind of, I guess, overexerting themselves though lately. They're kind of losing steam. I mean, the beginning they obviously started off super strong. People are falling for their shenanigans, but I'm hoping the team start to smarten up and don't listen to them. Because I mean, Vic and Nick fell victim to that, and they would have finished first that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week, Corinne and Eliza fell for it and started looking around and not going with their gut and going with what they knew.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. I mean, the Afghanimals, they were first 2 legs,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were second last.
Mm-hmm.
And this week they were lower again. I don't really know what's up with them. I just feel like they have certain things they're good at. Sometimes they'll argue and they'll bicker.
Yeah, I feel like they're losing their steam from the beginning. Losing their momentum. They're pumped, adrenaline, and now I guess getting tired. It's definitely mentally draining as well as physically draining.
For sure. I could see them. I could see them. Again, the first 2 seasons they did well. They're both. I don't remember exactly how they. It's not right in front of me exactly how they finished, but I feel like the second time they went out, they kind of did the same thing. They were well known returning players, so they went out and they went hard at it, and then they kind of started to slip off a little bit and tail off, and I feel like that's kind of maybe where they are now.
Yeah, you can't go at it with full force. You got a long, journey ahead of everything.
It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint, for sure. So, we'll see if they have another week though where they're down, they could be the 5th or lower on this ranking. But for right now, the only reason they're 3rd, I think they've earned 3rd by the last 2 weeks, but the first 2 weeks they're 1st. So you can't drop them too low with 2 bad weeks because they had 2 such great weeks.
Right. Yep.
So that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. For sure.
Who's number 2?
Colin and Christy.
Colin and Christy, yeah, they're actually number 1 on our ranking twice.
Mm-hmm.
And they're number 2 here. Gun in my head right now, I say they have the best shot of winning just because, they've been number 1. They've been, they're all right on the top board. But they also have had some fluctuation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Not all consistent across the board.
Right. I think they're working well together. They're in great shape.
It's the whole Zen thing. They always keep calm. They have never gotten frustrated to the point of getting mad or losing it at all.
Not this season.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Now
Season
it is
5.
because, like he said tonight, if it was the previous season, he would have been dropping some words that he shouldn't be saying and freaking out.
Right.
So I think I need to start taking up yoga or something.
For sure. I mean, we all do.
Meditating,
we all
would
do.
help.
So that's but that's why I have them here. I think they're primed to win this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do really think they are.
There's some that might.
But there's again they have experience. They have a lot going for them. They haven't. Again, there's one team that's really been in the thick of it from the very beginning, and that team's the one who's been finished same spot 3 weeks in a row.
Yes.
And so for that reason, we had to put them in number 1. Again, this top 5 will probably fluctuate quite a bit. until we get down to this final five, which will probably be these five teams.
It'll probably be all the same teams. Yeah.
They're probably all the same teams, just in different orders.
Yes.
But for team number one, Jessica's winner pick,
Nick and Vic.
the pick of Nick and Vic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why are they number one?
I think they work well together. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So like one steps up, the other steps up. They don't push each other to do it. Like I kind of feel with the other teams, they're just like, well, I don't want to do this, so you can do it. And they're both maybe struggle, but the other person might do a little bit better. So I mean, they pick what their talents are, and they delegate it that way. I think they work well together, and they don't really fight really either.
No.
A little bicker, but nothing extreme.
Right.
Nothing bad.
I feel like Nicole's the winner of Big Brother. I mean, she's the one who won the thing.
Yeah.
Vic was just kind of there. So he's physically strong.
But he's done so many more tasks than her and has done well.
For sure.
Especially tonight.
And the physically demanding ones, I think he's going to crush. The things that are strategic and things like that, I think she'll do better at. But I think that's a good compliment between the two of them. That being said, he can't keep doing all the tasks because they have to be even by the end of it. So she's going to start doing them.
It's true.
But, at this point...
But her on the bike tonight compared to him on the bike tonight, she would have never finished it.
For sure.
It would have taken her forever. It would have been like Eliza on the bike. You can't, she's going to have to probably start taking some of the other ones, but hopefully she's going to have to take the artsy ones, I think.
Yeah, and I think she, the things that involve a lot of thinking and strategy, I think she'll be better at.
Yes.
And we'll see. We'll see how it turns out for them. But I think they're a good, opposite attract type of thing where they have one strength is the other one's weakness and vice versa, and they can complement each other very well.
Right.
So we'll see if that continues to go forward. They remind me a lot of Tyler and Corey's first season. That my favorite team was Brody and Kurt. Brody and Kurt were they did make YouTube videos doing frisbee trick shots.
Oh, nice.
It was a social media season, so they had YouTube stars, Facebook, whatever, Instagram stars.
Nice.
That was Tyler and Corey's first season.
Right.
And Brody and Kurt were awesome, and I remember that Kurt was the one who was like the Vic. He went out and just did everything. He did all the tasks. He was good at absolutely everything he did. It was just stupid how good he was. And I remember the one other team goes, well, we're doing this task, and we're trying to get first place. And we're going against Kurt. He's not good at anything, so we have a great shot. Obviously they're joking because he just dominated everything.
Right.
But they got to the point where he did 7 of the first 10 tasks. And then Brody had to do it. And Brody was good at certain things, but he had to just kind of do everything at that point because he had to catch up.
Yeah.
And they fell apart.
Yeah.
And lost. And
so that's
Brody wasn't
happening with this one. Okay.
Brody wasn't as positive as Kurt was.
Right.
And he had to do dancing stuff that he just wasn't gonna do. He wasn't good at, and he knew he wasn't good at it, but he had to catch up because it's no wonder they're winning so many legs. They have their best player doing all the tasks.
Right.
So I don't think Vic's necessarily the best player, but if he does all the tasks, eventually Nicole's gonna have to be thrown into a spot where she has to do stuff.
Right. I mean, they both danced last episode, so she could probably do the dancing.
I think she has a lot more skills than she's let on so far. I mean, she's a Big Brother. That's not an easy task. So we'll see, but I think that could be a thing that catch up to them eventually.
It could be an issue down the line.
But I don't think Vic is that much better than her at anything, really, at all. But he's done well so far.
Yeah.
And if she starts taking some tasks and starts crushing them, it's gonna be tough to see anybody else winning. Yeah. Because if she is equal as to him, and I think she's actually better. Personally, I think she's better at most things than he is. If that is the case, and she's just proving that, watch out. Because they're definitely the thing to beat. But if not, then they could definitely fall in the Brody and Kurt spot where they just kind of end up falling apart. So we'll see what happens. But so far so good. I definitely think it's been a very entertaining season so far. I hope that the survivors would do a little better, but I want to see Rupert last a little longer so we could laugh at him for a couple more weeks. I believe he's still locked out of his Twitter account for 2 years, but he never tweeted anything of substance anyways. But either way, it's been a fun season so far. Excited to see where it goes. I'm not really sure what's going on in the next couple of weeks because of the Survivor finale, and if they're gonna move it to a different time, I'm gonna keep an eye for that, and
Yeah.
just subscribe to our stuff so you won't miss anything. Worry about when it comes out. Ideally, if it's still only gonna be on Wednesday nights, I'd like to try to do it record right after once Survivor's over. Just kind of get out quicker and do all that, but we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen with that, but. What's your Twitter handle?
Currently, it's just T820. It might change.
Might change. Some based on our what we're gonna go ahead with the vlog. But definitely subscribe to us. Tweet Jessica. Subscribe to our blogs and our video sets and everything, and make sure that you don't miss anything. We're trying to add as much content in the next few weeks, especially with finale coverage of Survivor and things of that nature. Like our page, facebook.com/Pavement Productions. Email the show at pavmentproductions@gmail.com. Tweet me, grab a gabba. Tweet Jessica at
Just T820.
and definitely don't miss anything. Got a lot coming up. Really excited for it. See you guys on Wednesday, and the days to follow as well for all the rest of the fun coverage we have coming up soon. Don't miss anything. Subscribe, and I think that's it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, great. Well, we'll see you next week. Until then, safe travels.